Just thinking about the access we have to the real world of lived experience via this embodiment we have, and what the restrictions are on that, and particularly how those restrictions have been figured through history in different pieces of writing and thought. And the thing I'm thinking of is the Bible, Plato and Richard Dawkins. So what I want to do is I want to see if I can draw out from those three sources a similar kind of sense that we are, you know, we're living in a material world and we are all material girls. Well, we're material girls and boys, accessing the complex nature of the world through the filter of our own embodiment. In the Bible, and I think it's in Ecclesiastes, but I might be the wrong place, there's a passage about seeing the world as through a glass darkly. Through a glass darkly. By glass it means a mirror, I think. You know, so the image is that you're looking into a mirror and it's quite dark and you don't have access to the real world. You only have access to this dimly illuminated space that you're looking at the mirror through. Yeah. So the complexity of the world is reduced to it's reduced in size, it's reduced in dimension, it's reduced in illumination. The colours are bleached out of it. But the real world in that configuration, but the promise in that bit, I think I'm right in saying, is that, you know, when you die or when you achieve some kind of redemption or salvation, then you don't look through the dark mirror anymore, you look into the world. You know, that's the idea of that, I think. But we as mortal beings, alive and awake, it's the kind of alive and awake that is seeing the world as through a mirror, through a glass darkly, and necessarily restricted because of that. Now you also find that in Plato with his metaphor of the cave, very famous piece of writing. Here he configures humanity as being kind of captives, I guess, in the cave, shackled to the walls of the cave and facing the back wall. You know, so the opening to the cave is behind you and the wall is in front of you. And maybe there's a fire burning behind you outside there, so it's casting shadows, including the shadows of yourself, onto the cave wall in front of you. And because you're shackled, you can't get up and turn around and look and walk outside. You are condemned to face the wall of the cave and look at the shadows dancing on the cave wall, including the dancing shadow that is yourself. And what the implication of that is for Plato is that, again, like the glass darkly metaphor, the images that we see of the world, our experience in all its richness and its believability and its realness, the real itself, is this highly partial, highly restricted view in which the dimensions are collapsed, the colours are evacuated, the range of experience is limited to the range that our embodiment allows. In Plato, that embodiment is metaphorized, is configured as this cave. And then Richard Dawkins, who seems like a strange bedfellow with those two, but in the end of one of his books, I think it's probably The God Delusion, he describes looking out at the world as looking through the slit in a what's it called? Those things when you niqab. Yeah, those things. It'll come back to me. The things that Muslim women wear. And so we're looking out in the world through, as he says, we look out through a little slit in the electromagnetic spectrum, and there's all of the range of visual experience that's beyond the visual range of our eyes, and all the range of other kinds of sensory engagement, not even sensory engagement, all the range of electromagnetic energy, all the range of dimensional possibilities that exist below our sensory capacities to experience. And our experience, he says, is just this narrow slit in this, still can't get the word, sorry. But outside of that, you know, the vast majority of ideas and the vast majority of the universe is outside of embodied experience. So it's a similar kind of thing. He's not using the reflection metaphor, he's not using the shadow metaphor, but it's the same thing, that we look at the world in a restricted way. And of course, yes, science can open up bits of it, and that's really useful. And I personally think that kind of poetics of different kinds can also open up bits of it in different ways. But that thing we call real, I mean, that's the crucial thing. The thing we call real is this bit. is this narrow bandwidth of experience. It's the shadows dancing on the wall of Plato's cave, and the real is what's reflected in the dark glass of Ecclesiastes. That'll do.